Yo, Josh 3 Arch, top five most underrated players currently in the NBA playoffs. I think this is going to be a fun little video talking about some of these players and why I think they should be on this list. Me personally, I don't think a lot of you are going to know even how good these players were doing in the playoffs. At the number five spot is CameronPayne on the Phoenix Suns, who is the backup point guard for them and has been playing pretty solid minutes in Chris Paul's absence. I know you guys know that Chris Paul is not playing for a while because of COVID-19. And CameronPayne has been doing pretty good. And this is kind of a guy that can score like 19, 20 points off the bench. And he's doing really good. You know, he came from the G League. And honestly, major W for the Phoenix Suns for getting CameronPayne and keeping him well, because CameronPayne's a really good, really solid backup point guard in my opinion. He's averaging 10 points in this year's playoffs, which isn't that bad for someone coming off the bench. I know I watch him, and really shifty type of player. You know, one of those players that can make the crossovers. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I put him at the number five spot, considering he's someone coming off the bench. And 10 points isn't that much, but he is a pretty solid player. At the number four spot, we got Mikal Bridges. And I'm a 76ers fan, and this is a guy that got traded from his hometown on draft night. This picture right here, he was so happy to be traded to his hometown. And he got traded from the Philadelphia 76ers to the Phoenix Suns. And in this playoff series, he's doing pretty well with 12 points a game and his fair share of rebounds. And he's really helping out this team, a very underrated player. One of the most underrated players of the entire this regular season. And his defense is really insane. I would say his player comparison is kind of like KD. He has the skinniness and the Kawhi Leonard type defense. I really think he's going to be like a star in the future possibly, and I have no reason why the 76ers traded up on him. And he's definitely proving the 76ers wrong, because the dude that the 76ers traded for, Zaire Smith, is not even in the NBA right now. He's in the G League. Now, I do know that he got injured and he was sick, but this is a major W for the Phoenix Suns of getting Mikal Bridges for Zaire Smith, a dude that's not in the NBA. At number three is Kevin Huerter, which scored 27 points versus the 76ers Game 7, and he was clutch. He was out there shooting, and everyone was like, who is this man out here destroying the 76ers, destroying the process? And he's averaging 11 points a game this playoff series. And honestly, I think he should get looked at more. He's a very underrated player. Not that much people talk about him. He hit threes at a good rate and was part of the main reason why the Atlanta Hawks won Game 7 versus the 76ers. Trae Young was doing terribly, and they needed someone to step up, and he was there with 27 points. At number two, Terrence Mann, the man, the myth, the legend, scoring 39 points when they needed him the most in Game 6. Number 48 pick in the 2019 NBA draft, and he has come alive this playoff series. He's very good. I'm not gonna lie. He's actually been helping this Clippers team a lot, and the Clippers definitely need him. Hopefully he can continue the streak, because you know how some people just have like these hot streaks and then they just they cool down. They don't do anything anymore. I mean, unfortunately the last game that kind of happened, as he didn't score that much points. But moving on in the future, I'm hoping he can be clutch and just play how he plays. I mean, obviously he isn't a star player, but he's a very underrated player in the NBA. Now, before I get on to the number one person on this list, subscribe, turn on post notifications if you haven't already, to be a part of the Archer team. You know what I am saying. I'd highly appreciate it. But without further ado, let's get on to the first person. And the number one person on this list is Reggie Jackson, who has been shooting like Stephen Curry. Probably one of the best playoff series of his entire career. He's had some games of 20 plus points. He's on a 3-game streak of 20 plus points, which is pretty good for a guy like Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson is a very solid player, and especially in these playoffs, not really that much people have been talking about him. So that's why I put him at the number one spot, because his shooting performance has helped the Clippers beat the Mavericks. And if he can do this in the Suns series, it's really going to help them out. He's shooting 42% from 3, which surprisingly is not even his best 3-point percentage in the playoffs. Last year was his best. But either way, in terms of the other players that I put on this list, that is definitely the best playoff performance series out of all these guys, and the most underrated, because I don't really see that much people talking about what Reggie Jackson is doing. And like I said, hopefully he can keep this up. With that being said, that's going to wrap things up for this video. What do you think I went wrong on this list? Who should I added? Should I make a part 2? Should I put like top 10? What should I do? Let me know in the comments down below. I think this list was pretty solid. I got Reggie Jackson, I got Terrence Mann, Mikal Bridges, all good players, and players that you should really watch in the playoffs. Like, imagine if just one of them just scores like 30 points. Who knows? It could happen. Terrence Mann scored 39 points. Like, any player can just randomly score that much points. There's a lot of players that just go under the radar, so that's why I'm making this video, to kind of shine light on them. A lot of you guys probably already know them, but I'm just saying, like, these guys are definitely underrated. That being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I'm out.